Hello sporters. Welcome to Endless Sport Time. The art of intimidation can be a useful tactic in the NFL. This is because players with a fearsome reputation can easily get into the minds of their opponents and throw them off their game. The tactic wasn't limited to every side of the ball, but the league's most menacing players made their living in the defense. The fine line between scary and dirty can be a daunting task, but many of the league's scariest players have played at a point where they could fall on either side of the line. Their playstyle may have been the perfect one for their generation, but that doesn't mean they couldn't be successful in today's games. This is because many of these competitors were among the best at their position, which only adds to their appeal. Let's have a look at 6 most scariest players in NFL history. 6. Jack Lambert. The Steel Curtain may have paid more attention to Pittsburgh's elite defense, but it could be argued that their best player made a living a little further from the line of scrimmage. One of the most feared running backs in NFL history, Jack Lambert, weighed just 220 pounds, but he struck fear into his opponents. Lambert was also the best lineman of his time. His edge-to-edge speed was excellent for his position, and he transformed the central field role in Pittsburgh's Tampa 2 system. The 9-time Pro Bowler reached 6 interceptions, twice in his career, and opposing quarterbacks were as intimidated by his passing ability as his fiery and toothless stare. 5. Deacon Jones. Without Deacon Jones, who coined the term in the 1960s, football might have never considered sacks as a statistic. The defensive end also made the most of the field, leading the league in sacks 5 times over his 14-year career, and finishing with 173.5, unofficially. Also, some believe his actual numbers are much higher, because the league didn't measure official sacks stats until 1982. Jones is not only one of the most successful quarterback hunters of all time, but also one of the most intimidating players to ever step foot on the field. No one could match the intensity of the 8 times Pro Bowler, and his signature head slap move provided fearsome fuel for opposing linebackers playing against him. 4. Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis' consistent level of dominance is unlike anything the league has seen at the linebacker position. He's one of the few players to make it to Pro Bowl in 3 different decades. Likewise, his power was unmatched, and he played recklessly, to a point as if every shot was his last. The 13-time Pro Bowler helped turn the Ravens' defense into one of the most feared units in league history in the early 2000s. Lewis may not be the right fit for that position, due to his underside, but you'll never know based on your style of play, as he hits more scary shots than anyone else. Pass catchers had to be aware of his presence when going across the middle, and those who were not cautioned were constantly punished. 3. Dick, Night Train Lane. Being a smart ball player is the most common reason for a cornerback to become feared by opposing offenses. But Dick, Night Train Lane, was not an ordinary coverman, as he brought a unique wildness to a location not yet replicated, or even copied. His tendency to tie opponents to clotheslines, a move known as the Night Train necktie, and ripping the opponents to the ground by their face mask. This led to several rule change in the NFL in the early 1960s. This move deep-rooted fear to all those who oppose him. The ball carrier wasn't the only one threatened by the defensive end, as he made his living as one of the ball hawks in the league, in opposing matchups. He set a single-season record with 14 interceptions, in just 12 games, in his rookie season in 1952, and currently ranks second on the all-time interceptions list. Hello guys. If it's your first time here, and so far you find this content interesting, don't hesitate to press the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell, so that you'll be alerted each time we post a new video like this. So far so good, let's continue. 2. Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor wasted no time in becoming one of the league best pass rushers, as he was the only player to win Defensive Player of the Year in his rookie season. It was just the beginning for the 10 times Pro Bowler, who redefined the outside linebacker position and changed the way offenses scheme against elite edge threats. It's easy to say that Taylor is the best defensive player in NFL history. Likewise, it can be argued that he is also the most threatening player in the league. Because of his lightning-quick get-off, it gave offensive linemen nightmares, and he could see the terror in their eyes, and it could tell him who was assigned to block him. He had a similar psychological effect on opposing passers, as Taylor knew if the game would turn into a handoff, by seeing how nervous they were over his presence before shooting. 1. Dick Butkus. Dick Butkus was the midway, original monster, and no one had mastered the art of the chase, like the Chicago's legendary middle linebacker. He reportedly snarled like a dog between plays, and had a tendency to bite his opponents in piles. As if his canine tendencies were not menacing enough, he was also one of the most feared players in league history, and made it his mission to punish the ball carriers at every turn. Opponents had to be very careful when speaking about Butkus and Chicago in interviews, as he used his slights as a motivating factor. Lions running back Alty Taylor learned this the hard way in their second game in 1969. He was forced to sit in the crowd to avoid collisions with the linebacker after calling him overrated following their earlier play. He is one of 3 linebackers to make multiple teams in a decade. Butkus is one of the biggest and most brutal players in NFL history. Alright guys, we have come to the end of this video. What can you say about our list? Who is, according to you, the most scariest player in NFL history? Share with us your impressions in the comments section down below. See you all in the next video.